And
Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, giving a shout out to
something else.
something else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matata, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to something else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Arya.
And welcome to episode number 253 of Something Else. Feast your hair holes in this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling from December 8th, 1984, and Mid-South Wrestling from December 15th, 1984. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the Kendall Windham to my Elix Skipper. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
So you get to rope walk on a cage, and I get to go to prison for counterfeiting.
Today is both of their birthdays, and even though Kendall Windham had his career from the late 80s to the late 90s, and Elix Skipper didn't start until like 99, 2000, they both turned 58 years old today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It just tells you how late in life Elix was when he started and how young Kendall was when he started.
Also, my wife's
There's a
birthday. She is not 58.
happy 57th birthday to your wife. I don't know how old your wife is, but you know, but yeah, it's funny. Like they literally like Kendall stopped wrestling right about the time Elix started, and they're the same exact age, and they wrestled for the exact same company.
You remember when Elix Skipper, like one time on WCW Saturday Night, was Skip Over?
Yes, that
Fucking
is
terrible name.
one of the most epically bad names ever. And when he debuted as Elix Skipper, I'm like, are they saying Felix Skipper? I'm like, that is a bad name. Maybe not Skip Over bad, but Felix Skipper is a bad name.
My
They were not
favorite,
saying Felix.
my favorite was when Mike Awesome joined Team Canada, and that '70s bus became that Canadian bus. And Elix Skipper was playing like he was driving the bus, and he was going, "I built this bus. This is my bus."
I do not remember that, but I remember a story that Lance Storm told that they gave them the promo sheet for that segment, and it said that Lance had to put the bus over. And so he joked that he was going to get down on his back and have Major Guns count because he was going to put the bus over. He was going to put the bus over.
The the greatest moments of that bus were Elix Skipper playing like he was driving it, and Shaggy Two Dope getting power bombed on top of it and then sliding down.
Ah, that poor clown. Was it Shaggy Tudo?
It
Was it
was Shaggy
Violent
Two Dope.
J?
I remember that promo has been burned into my mind for fucking 25 years because it was the night after Halloween Havoc 2000, right? And
I will take your word for that.
well, I don't remember which of this, but ICP were cutting a promo when they challenged Mike Awesome to a handicap match, and I think it was Violent J. He goes, "Mike Awesome, thanks to you, our friend Vampiro is at home nursing a broken spleen or something."
That was. Have you ever seen that Mike Awesome Vampiro match?
No,
Uh,
I listened to it through Scramble Vision the night it happened, but no, I've never watched it.
that was an epically bad match. Oh man, oh man. Um, we have some wrestling here today, Trey, and some terrible, awful news. Ernie Ladd is done.
Uh,
Done. Done.
so is Magnum TA.
I didn't even look Magnum TA up,
Well, I
but
when I saw that angle, I'm like, this is like a he's leaving the territory angle. And then I looked. He had his last match on December 7th against Ladd in Houston,
well,
and then he starts in Crockett on Christmas.
wow. I guess he's been in the territory for a year, so it's
Yeah,
about time for him to move on.
yeah.
Especially since, as we'll get to, he is not the person that goes over for the North American title.
He was not. No,
No.
I will miss
Uh,
Ernie Ladd though.
yes. We need to get Joel out of the commentary desk and have Ernie take over as the color commentator of the territory.
Yes.
Um, Before we get into this, did you see the Wrestle Kingdom lineup?
Yeah, I did.
What are your thoughts? Because there's a lot of people disappointed by it.
I don't care.
Okay, great. So for those who did not see it, it's 7 matches. And if, in case you forget, we're not currently in the middle of a global pandemic, and New Japan doesn't typically limit their big shows to 6 or 7 matches at this point. And the tag team title match with the winners of World Tag League isn't happening till New Year's Dash, which is kind of weird. But yeah, Wrestle Kingdom 20, it's going to be a very different show, main evented by Hiroshi Tanahashi's retirement against Kazuchika Okada.
Mm.
Um, yeah. But hey, before we get too far into the future, let's go to the past. Let's go to December 8th, 1984. Kick things off with the intro of the exciting wrestling show with Boyd Pierce and Bill Watts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mid-South Wrestling, the exciting wrestling. And I'm Boyd Pierce, your host. This week we have another tremendous card. You'll see the Rock and Roll Express is here this week. Also, the Mid-South television title on the line, Superstar Bill Dundee versus Nature Boy Buddy Landell. And the first dream match from your cards and letters you've been sending in, Hacksaw Butch Reed gets his chance at the North American heavyweight title held by the champion, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd. Also, Magnum TA takes on Dr. Death Steve Williams. Brad Armstrong makes his debut here on Mid-South. And Terry Taylor and Tim Horner in tag team action against Ted DiBiase and Hercules Hernandez. Now, we have new Mid-South Tag Team Champions, and Bill Watts will tell you about that just a little later on. We want to thank you so much for the response that you've sent for the dream match. Just tons of mail, more response than we've ever had. We appreciate it. Want you to keep doing it right now. We're going to show you the information on your screen, and you keep those letters and cards coming in for the dream match.
All right, so we get told that Bill Dundee will defend the TV title this week against Buddy Landell. Now, Trey, as you might recall, Buddy Landell is a lot of things. You know, he's a great promo. He's a pretty good wrestler. He's got a good head of hair on him. But he is not exotic Adrian Street.
No, he is not. And we watched 2 shows this week, and there was no Dundee Adrian Street match on either of them.
Nope. This is as bad as that Smoky Mountain show last week that promised a 6-person tag match that never happened. But at least this time we're still getting a TV title match. So that's always good. And we're also going to get the first dream match, Ernie Ladd defending the North American title against Butch Reed. You know, Bitch Steed himself. You know,
Exciting.
you would think that they would do that cage match that we never got on television, since apparently if you're doing a dream match, you're forced against your will to have the match.
Oh, did I don't know if I mentioned as a part of what I just said, but the Magnum TA Ernie Ladd match in Houston was in fact a cage match. So somebody did get to see a cage match at least.
Well, that's nice. At least we didn't have to see Paul Bosch talk about it.
That's
You know.
good. That's good.
Now we have new tag team champions, but before we heard about that, we had to rewatch the Dream Match video, which, oh boy, the Dream Match video didn't get me pissed off like the Win a Date with the Rock and Roll Express video did, but the Dream Match itself, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, rant is coming. But for now, let's go back to the announcers where Bill is going to tell us about our new tag team champions.
And we want to tell you the first dream match will be the North American title match this week. Ernie Ladd defending against Hacksaw Butch Reed. And now, Cowboy Bill Watts, our guest commentator, is going to tell you about the new Mid-South Tag Team Champions. Bill?
Well, thank you, Boyd. It's no secret. When you're a champion in the Mid-South area, you never have any rest. You're a target. The Rock and Roll Express, the finest young tag team I've ever seen, had just run the Midnight Express out and Jim Cornette, put them to humiliation. Really, finally, were on a real roll. And what do they have? They have the Akbar, the Army, Ted DiBiase, Hercules, Sheik Hercules Hernandez. Let's go to downtown New Orleans for just the closing moments of this match on December the 3rd with Jim Ross's commentary, and we'll see what happens.
I'll be honest, at first, when they kept talking about we're having new champions, it took me a minute to remember who the hell the tag team champions were.
Really?
Really? But it was, in fact, The Rock and his partner, Roll Express. And then from here, we go to video from December 3rd in New Orleans. And I know Cornette has talked about this a lot on his shows over the years, but it is just amazing to me, astounding to me, that they just ran the Superdome 2 weeks earlier, and they're already back in New Orleans doing a regular show at the Municipal Auditorium.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, this is territory wrestling. It just, unless it's something like a big show like WrestleMania or something, you do not see that in anything similar to that in modern day wrestling.
What do they draw at the Superdome in November? Do you know?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What do they draw at the Superdome in November?
I did not look that up. Let's do a quick looky-loo here. But yeah, Ted DiBiase and Hercules are your brand new Mid-South Wrestling Tag Team Champions. And what a team. Ted DiBiase and Hercules. It's like I knew Ted DiBiase and like Dr. Death become a team, but like I just did not know it was DiBiase and Herc were ever champions. By the way, 14,000 people and $104,000. November 22nd, Hector and Chavo beat Master G and Brickhouse Brown. Adrian Street and Miss Linda beat Bill Dundee in a quote-unquote handicap match. Jim Duggan and Butch Reed beat Steve Williams and Ted DiBiase. Mid-South Tag Champs, The Rock and Roll Express beat the Midnight Express in a quote-unquote scaffold match. And in the main event, Magnum TA beat Mid-South North American champion Ernie Ladd via disqualification.
That's probably what killed New Orleans right there.
Well, they don't draw 14,000 for the Superdome for the next two shows, not until August 10th when they're back. Do they draw more than 14,000? They draw 15,800 then. Thanksgiving next year to 16,000, and that's it. That's not the last time mark. They do 11,000 and 13,000, but like by April of '87, this is where I'm convinced that Crockett they had to have contracts with the Superdome that they had to have a certain number of shows a year, because why the fuck is Crockett running UWF shows at the Superdome in '87? Like,
your guess is as good as mine. You're probably right. I don't know. Man.
What was that?
I don't know, man. Crockett was making a lot of really dumb decisions at that time.
Yeah. 3,000, 3,500, and 3,500 for three Superdome shows in 1987, totaling 10,000 people, which, as noted, most of these Superdome shows do at least 10,000 people. Like the
Not a
next one
good,
we have is going to be 9,500, but that's the like low bar, I think, of the entire time we've been watching this.
not good for the Silver Dome there.
Nope, 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 nope. Where Hogan slammed Andre at the Silver Dome there in New Orleans. Um, so by the way, the finish of the match, Buddy Landel ran down and handed DiBiase the loaded glove. DiBiase did a loaded fist drop to Gibson, and Hurt got the pin. So we're back to the era of having, pardon me, we're back to the era of having random singles wrestlers as tag team champions.
I feel like DiBiase could have avoided a whole lot of trouble a few years later if instead of trying to buy Hercules in a way that violates the 13th Amendment, he would have just been like, "Hey, remember we were Mid-South Tag Team Champions? Well, why don't we get the old band back together?" Maybe Hercules wouldn't have taken such umbrage at that.
Yeah, remember how much money Akbar had? You think he'd be willing to spread some around still?
Yeah, oil money.
Yeah. Maybe that's how Ted DiBiase got his $1 million.
That's what I've
That it's
said
real.
like 6 times on this show.
Well, it finally sunk into my head after the sixth time. I know I said this as a kid, but when they called him the $1 million man, I thought he had exactly $1 million. It wasn't that he had more than a million. It wasn't that he had less than a million. He had exactly $1 million.
And it just stayed that way. He always spent exactly what he made from wrestling.
Yes, yes. It because he's not the millions dollar man, the $1 million man. You know, it made perfect sense when you're 8.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Oh Lord. By the way, we were told that before the match, the officials found a mysterious metal object on DiBiase and took it from him, but apparently they have their ways around that. And from here, Akbar has something to say back in the studio with our new tag team champions.
Prime objective is complete takeover of the Mid-South area. We have completed phase 1, the Mid-South coveted tag team titles. There seems to be some controversy on how they were won. The bottom line is, people, we won them. We are the champions. And Hacksaw Butch Reed, a little something for you to think about. You owe me for a $10,000 Rolex watch. And I've instructed Buddy Landel to pay me back in dividends with your hide. And if you can't do it, I'll have somebody that can. And you know, Teddy, since we are the champions, that means they have to come to us.
Exactly, General. You know, a famous man once said, winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. And in any professional sport, it is the only thing because it means money. And we are the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, and because we are, that gives us just the leverage we need. What it means, people, is that now Mid-South has to deal with us. Mid-South has to reckon with us. It gives us the leverage we need to go ahead and take it all. I told you people when I came back here that I was going to go right to the top again and that I was going to take it all. General Akbar, Ted DiBiase and company, Hercules Sheik Hernandez, we are Mid-South and the Army is Mid-South and we are here to stay.
Prepare to join us, or you're against us and you pay the dividends. Understand? You pay the consequences. Devastation Incorporated, the General. We're taking the Mid-South by storm. We already have the tag titles. All the gold you have to offer is ours.
Well, you heard.
You know, I think if I learned anything from this, is people need to pay their dividends. Damn it.
For such a moneyed man, I don't think Admiral Akbar is using that word correctly.
I don't think he knows what that means.
It certainly
Um,
seems like it.
I do like that apparently Buddy Landel's back in the good graces of him. Because
Yeah.
there for a while it certainly seemed like he was not happy. He was not pleased with his association with Mr. Landell.
Yeah.
Well, do you think? Yeah, I guess at this point, if the Rolex has been destroyed, how is Buddy Landell going to get $10,000 out of Butch Reed? Like, is he going to beat up
Uh,
Butch Reed so badly that Butch is like, okay, let's go to my bank in the morning. I'll get you $10,000.
did you ever watch My Name Is Earl?
I didn't know.
There was an episode where like some guy was trying to explain like stocks to Ethan Suplee's character. He was very dumb, and he owned stock in I think Dunkin' Donuts. And he had, do you get free donuts? He says, no, I don't get donuts. I get dividends. And he's like, oh, there's the little things with the cream filling in them.
It's possible that's what Akbar was thinking of
You
here.
know what? It might be.
I'll tell you what though. And again, this is me being a dumb child at the time, but a slightly older dumb child than I was when I thought Ted DiBiase had exactly $1 million. I thought when you had stock in Coca-Cola, you got free Coca-Cola.
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you?
Apparently not. You can own a company and not be able to walk away with their product for free. All right.
Yeah.
So we go to our first exciting match of the night. It's the Rock and Roll Express versus Terry Ellis and Horny Hairdresser. Um, there's nothing notable about this match. Gibson pinned Ellis with a double drop kick while Watts wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, that's about right.
Champion of Television, Bill Dundee versus Buddy Landell. I started writing that Dundee didn't even have his medal, but it was actually in the palm of his hand because that ribbon has long since broken off, and they're not even trying to replace it because when they replaced it, it immediately broke off again.
They should just get a belt to put it on, like a smaller belt. You know,
Like, not even like a
like
TV
like the
title
Lou
belt.
Thesz belt.
Okay. As in the middle of being ready to say that they get an actual belt when it becomes the UWF in a year and a half. But yeah, that sounds even better. Just like get a small leather strap and put the medal right in the middle.
There you go.
Hey, since next year is not an Olympic year, why do they still have a medal? That's why we have a medal this year.
Maybe they'll change it next year.
There you go. There you go. I don't know what they do in 1985. Maybe the World Cup is in 1985, so they will have a trophy instead.
No, the World Cup is an even number of years. I think it.
I like that you know that.
I think it's 80s. I don't know. It is a complete coincidence. It's a complete coincidence, but it always like was so weird to me that U.S. presidential elections and the Olympics are on the exact same 4-year schedule.
Yeah. And actually, you are right because I remember the '94 World Cup. So before that would have been '90 and '86. So you were right.
So the World Cup is the same years as the Winter Olympics.
Yes. However, it used to be the Winter Olympics was the same year as the Summer Olympics until, well, '94.
90, okay.
Yeah.
That's really recent. I guess it's not. Yeah. I guess that's over fucking 30 years ago now.
It's recent enough to me. And actually, as a kid, and hey, I get away with this one because, again, being a stupid child, because the Winter Olympics was in '92 and then '94, I thought the Winter Olympics was every 2 years. I was wrong, obviously.
Understandable.
All right. So the referee had to hold Landell back because it took Bill Dundee forever to take his Elvis suit off. Dundee rebounded off the ropes with a shoulder tackle with such force that it caused Dundee himself to fall out of the ring. Landell sent Dundee into the middle guardrail, busting him open. I was in the middle of writing that Mid-South has this stupid rule where if you get thrown into the ring post, you get disqualified. But at least they didn't mention it because that would have been really stupid since he got thrown into the barricade. And then Bill Watts mentioned the rule. So
Yeah,
how is it legal to throw your opponent into the metal barricade if you cannot be thrown into the metal ring post?
it gets worse than that because White says that's an immediate disqualification, and then when it isn't, he said, "Well, there's no rule about that area."
Well, I think he meant that the ring post was an immediate disqualification, but
You're an
there's no
immediate
rule about the
disqualification.
guardrail. Anyway, Landell then became the new champion of television with his corkscrew elbow. And it's like all of a sudden the TV title is changing hands almost as often as the Smoky Mountain version. And it's possible because the damn title never gets defended on TV. So like we've had like 5 title defenses this year and 4 title changes.
Yeah, and then now we'll get to it next week.
Oh God. I have a defense for that at least. I have
really
a
because Buddy
defense.
doesn't.
Well, I don't have a defense for that, but I have a defense of something that happens later in the show that actually circles back to the Buddy incident. But anyway, I mean, I guess Ernie Ladd's not officially with Akbar's Army, but I did write that if like Akbar's Army has all the championships now, and I guess Ernie Ladd isn't really with them, but he like I'd say he has a loose association since he's with Buddy Landell and
he is
Buddy
with
Landell's
them.
with him.
He is with them, but not of them.
There you go. So speaking of our favorite bum seeker, it was North American champion Ernie Ladd. I wrote versus Buddy Landell in a dream match. That would be a dream match, but that's not what happened. It was Ernie Ladd versus Butch Reed in a dream match. Even though this is a tag team match, the winner of the fall gets a shot at any title they want. Wait, that's the dream match that was on TNA this week. AJ Styles and D'Lo Brown versus Simon Diamond and Johnny Swinger. A dream match anywhere in the world.
I've had some pretty weird dreams, but that's...
Yep. Buddy Landell ran down for immoral support, so Butch ran the heels' heads together before locking on a front face lock. That may sound stupid, but Reed really cinched up that front face lock here, and I thought like that looked like a really impressive move to be doing on Ernie Ladd. Because Ernie was selling the fuck out of that front face lock.
Yeah.
During this match, we got our first ever mention of the Mid-South B show, Power Pro Wrestling. And they said there are going to be dream matches on Power Pro Wrestling, which if the dream matches on Power Pro Wrestling are anything like the dream matches on Mid-South, avoid Power Pro Wrestling like the plague.
Yeah, Power Pro started in like June or July, and this is the first time that they've mentioned it.
Yep. So Ladd yanked Reed into Pee Wee Anderson, so Landell got involved. Reed heaved Landell into Ladd, and suddenly Kamala, of all people, arrives. Kamala, along with General Skandor Akbar and Friday, hit the ring, and Kamala gives Reed multiple big splashes. The Job Squad tried to make the save. One day I'd like to see them succeed. Anyway, Rock and Roll's Terry Taylor and Brad Armstrong made the save. And by the way, Reed wins by disqualification.
Yeah. Just, hey. You know
Honestly,
what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, no, we talked about it back in like June when Ernie Ladd won the title, but I'd forgotten who he lost the title to. So I actually thought he was about to lose the title to Reed here.
I had no idea who he lost the title to. I was very surprised.
Yep. Like next week, once they announce the match, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the match. But yeah, these dream matches never seem to have finishes, and we are 0 for 1. Was it last year? Were you here for Smoky Mountain? They did the month of dream matches, and they were all fuck finishes. Or was that the year before? Okay, that was the year before. Then they did a month of dream matches in November of I guess '92, and every single one of them was a fuck finish.
That's honestly the most Smoky Mountain thing I can imagine.
Yep. And hey, he learned to book by watching Mid-South, by being part of this and watching Jerry Jarrett. And mind you, I don't know if Jerry Jarrett did dream matches, but I imagine there was not a lot of clean wins in star versus star matches on Memphis TV either.
Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of them.
What are your thoughts on this match otherwise?
What were my thoughts on this match? It was I don't know, it was more of Buddy tried to interfere and it backfired. So let Reed get the advantage, and then Buddy interfered again and it gave Ladd the advantage, and then a bunch of shit happened, and then Kamala came out.
Yeah, honestly, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, but I was a little surprised. I was not expecting Kamala.
No, I also was not expecting Kamala.
But I guess it makes sense we'd had to have a new heel come into the territory since we're retiring Ernie Ladd right here. But yeah. So up next, we had the Alamo Busters, Chavo and Hector Guerrero versus Jimmy Powell and the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion Mike Jackson. Jimmy Powell is another Alabama-based wrestler who was also known as Jim Powell and the Dirty White Boy. No, this is not that Dirty White Boy. This is not Tony Anthony. This is just Jim Powell. So when this show began 3 years ago, and I think today might be actually it's 40. No, it's 84. So it'd be a 3-year anniversary, I think, is today of when we started doing the Mid-South shows. And when we started, Bill Watts seemingly every week would go off onto a pro-USA, anti-rest of the world rant to where he became not so affectionately known as geopolitical Bill Watts. And in recent years, he pretty much toned that down, and except when Nikolai Volkov would be on and he'd get to talk about Russian wheat and all that shit. Well, the Alamo Busters have a job apparently for one reason, so we could get the return of geopolitical Bill Watts. Let's go to Bill doing commentary on this match.
Twist it out. Of course, people like them are responsible for the economy in Mexico because they've sucked it all up like a sponge. Doesn't seem like there's a great middle class like there is in America that makes that country strong. It's either extreme wealth or extreme poverty. And Chavo and Hector Guerrero have never tasted that extreme poverty. Chavo driving
Chavo and Hector, people like Chavo and Hector Guerrero are responsible for the economy of Mexico. Where the hell did he get that from?
Just fucking wait, buddy. It's 1984. The forces are already in motion to turn America into exactly what you just described Mexico as. And we're fucking there now, aren't we?
Oh, come on. We have a great middle class, unlike Mexico. Yeah. Chavo pinned Powell with the middle rope senton atomico while Hector held him in the full Nelson.
Jimmy Powell looks like a young Mick Foley with even less definition.
And in case you didn't think that was possible, go check out Jim Powell.
Oh, and we were talking about birthdays earlier. Happy birthday, Noelle Foley.
There you go. I feel like we just talked about her on the show recently. I don't know why, though. Anyway,
I remember.
Magnum TA versus the Dr. Death helmet holder, Dr. Death Steve Williams. TA out-wrestled Doc, and Doc had to get to the ropes to break it. Williams leaned down to adjust his knee pads, and for a second, I thought about when Bart Gunn double-legged him during the Brawl for All, and Williams tore his ACL. I was probably the only person on the planet to think about that during this match with Magnum TA when Doc adjusted his knee pads. TA made his comeback and was mad about being beaten up, so he shoved Ronnie West down twice. Doc then waylaid TA with the helmet for the disqualification. How the fuck was TA not DQ'd for shoving referee Ronnie West twice.
Yeah, I wondered the same thing. Other than that, this was pretty fun little scrap. I did think that TA was about to get DQ'd for kicking too much ass, but at least it wasn't that.
Nope. Instead, he won by disqualification even though he beat up the referee. And yeah, this was not CM Punk being blinded and accidentally kicking the referee and thinking he was Jeff Hardy. This was Magnum TA blatantly putting his hands on Ronnie West. What did Ronnie West ever do to you, Magnum TA? Just for that, you have to go to Charlotte on Christmas night.
Damn,
He might enjoy
rough.
that, though. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Charlotte?
I don't know. The closest would be, however close Charlotte was to the highway we took while driving to Atlanta.
I have never seen the city of Charlotte. I've been through Charlotte Airport like 6 times.
Nice. Do you remember the Jim Cornette edition of WWE Photo Shoot where they're showing him different photos and have him react to it? And they showed him a picture of Louisville, and he's like, "Is that Charlotte?" And he got told off camera it's Louisville, and of course he popped, and he's like, "Louisville, Kentucky, would recognize it anywhere." So don't ask how the hell I was so bored during Brad Armstrong versus Jack Victory. And don't even ask how this was possible, but somehow I just started clicking around Cage Match for fun and discovered the 7 degrees of Mid-South Jobber. Starting with Jimmy Powell. Yes. Jimmy Powell once got an NWA Southern title match against Eric Andrews. Eric Andrews' first match was against Farron Fox. Farron Fox's first match was against American Gigolo. American Gigolo's first match saw him wrestle Roughhouse Rivera. Roughhouse Rivera also wrestled as Russian Assassin. Russian Assassin was a name also used by Jack Victory.
You did better than I did. I wrote, Watts talks about some other territory being boring. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yes, he was. I wrote, don't ask me how the hell I ended up with that. Apparently, when I am bored, I click around Cage Match. When Bill Watts is bored, he talks about how he went to a recent Madison Square Garden show and the crowd chanted boring. Brad won with a sleeper.
I doubt that the Madison Square Garden crowd chanted boring. They liked that shit because they didn't know any better.
Well, maybe they were chanting Bo's Ring. Bo's Ring.
Yeah. I love. There's like, if you watch Tiger Mask wrestling Dynamite Kid in Madison Square Garden in like 82, 83, I love to watch the crowd because they look like they're watching wrestling from fucking Saturn.
I'll be honest, I never noticed that. No, I'm actually curious, because I mean he never said when he went to New York City, but there is that part of me that's like, okay, there has to be a show around September, October, so maybe even November. Well, no, because November was November 26th, so October 22nd. David Schultz pinned Salvatore Bellomo. Alpha fought Dick Murdoch to a 20-minute time limit draw. Mad Dog Vachon pinned Rick McGraw in 7 minutes 24 seconds. Oh my God. I could suddenly see why the crowd may have been chanting boring. David Sammartino pinned Moondog Spot after 12 minutes and 23 seconds. That sounds like something. Greg Valentine defeated Tito Santana by disqualification. Ken Patera pinned Rocky Johnson. Sika defeated Adrian Adonis via disqualification. Nikolai Volkov defeated Sergeant Slaughter by countout. Brutus Beefcake pinned Tony Garea. And in the main event, Hulk Hogan pinned Big John Studd, subbing for Jesse Ventura.
Now, I believe that this TV taping was December 5th. So it could have been the November 26th, 1984 show with the main event of Tito Santana against Greg Valentine that aired on Georgia Championship Wrestling.
I mean, that is possible, but I was also thinking, like, I mean, I guess it wasn't, I guess it was Thanksgiving weekend, but Thanksgiving was the 22nd. Well, they did get Bobby Heenan versus Salvatore Bellomo. Um, and Heenan won by blocking a sunset flip and punching him in the face.
That sounds awesome, actually. I want to see Bobby Heenan against Sal Bellomo.
That is apparently on the Best of the WWF Volume 14 and a Bobby the Brain Heenan tape. I don't know if that's the one WWE put out a few years ago, if that was like some Coliseum home video version.
Well, if you click on the link, it'll take you to the Amazon for the WWE Bobby Heenan DVD. I know we're looking at the same webpage.
I was literally in the middle of saying that. By the way, thanks to the history of WWE.com for telling us about all this stuff here.
Indeed.
Yes. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, tag team champions. Oh, did you have anything to say about Brad Armstrong and his big first win over Jacko victory?
No. I was sad that they cut away before my favorite part of the babyface winning an enhancement match with the sleeper hold, the wake-up slap.
That's always like the funniest part. It's like it's good sportsmanship to slap your opponent in the back of the head to wake them up.
Well, it's not good for you to be unconscious.
No, it's not. It is not. All right, so main event time. Tag team champions Ted DiBiase and Sheik Hercules Hernandez with General Skandor Akbar versus Terry Taylor, who was a little bitch stooge and a D-Gens, and White Lightning Tim Horner. No, I'm not going to do it. So next week, we'll have Private Terry Daniels and possibly, Ernie Ladd versus Jim Duggan for the North American title. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to have Iceman King Parsons. We are informed that this is a main event anywhere in the world. And I'm trying to picture Tim Horner in a Madison Square Garden main event or in the main event of the Tokyo Dome.
I cannot picture Tim Horner in the main event in Morristown.
East High School can have better main eventers than Tim Horner. Hometown boy, Tim Horner.
Taylor and Horner as a tag team has to be a rib on us.
And I know we call him a bitch, a stooge, and a D-Gens every week, but I don't hate Terry Taylor. You know, I guess I don't even really hate Tim Horner, but I mean, I generally like Terry Taylor. He's a good wrestler. His booking was quite suspect this year, but he's a good wrestler, bro.
Is he booking TNA now?
No, Dutch is. Unless you mean like real life TNA, and no, he's not doing that either.
Okay, what is Terry Taylor booking this year that wasn't good?
No, the booking of Terry Taylor this year.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is how we began calling him a little bitch. And
English
it's gone
is
from
stupid.
there. Yep. So Akbar tripped Taylor, but Taylor avoided an elbow drop and tagged out to Horner. Reed ran down and attacked Skandor Akbar and posted him. You better watch. Akbar beat up Chick Donovan recently, and DiBiase KO'd Horner for the win. And then I had to laugh because Reed and Taylor got in the ring and squared off with DiBiase and Hercules, and Tim Horner is just laid out unconscious in between them, and nobody gives a fuck.
Who do you think would win a being a little bitch contest between Terry Taylor and Chick Donovan?
I think Chick Donovan may take that one. So, for this episode of Mid-South, generally speaking, I, for the most part, enjoyed this show. You know, we had some good action. We had, she had some promos. We had some newsworthy things happening on this week's episode of Mid-South Wrestling.
Yeah, it was fine. It was a show. It wasn't offensive.
Then we move forward 1 week. Mid-South Wrestling, December 15th, 1984. We are officially 41 years and 1 day ago. Once again, we knew this day would come. Let's go to the intro with JR and Joel Watts.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting hour of America's #1 wrestling television program, Mid-South Wrestling. My name is Jim Ross, and along with Joel Watts, we'll be describing the action you'll see today. And Joel, matchmaker Grizzly Smith, has put together one of the most awesome television programs that I have ever seen.
Yeah, we've got a lot of big-name stars today. We've got Nature Boy Buddy Landell, Tim Horner, Terry Taylor, Private Terry Daniels, the Rock and Roll Express, Chavo and Hector Guerrero, and Jim, we've got a couple of really great main events. Tell them about it.
Well, we certainly do, Joel. Ladies and gentlemen, last week you heard Cowboy Bill Watts mention that the Mid-South was going to try to sign a North American title match between the champion, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Well, those negotiations have broke down much to the cause, or primarily all the cause, of Big Ernie Ladd. Grizzly Smith said there would be a North American title match here today on television. It was promised to the fans. You deserve that championship match. Ladd has refused Hacksaw Duggan. He has refused Hacksaw Butch Reed. So matchmaker Grizzly Smith, because of the great showing that this young man made last week, Brad Armstrong will get a North American title shot today. He's a former national heavyweight champion. He has all the qualifications. It should be a great encounter. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll also have today, right here, our second dream match. It's going to be a great one. Magnum TA, one of the great young superstars in wrestling, will go against General Skandar Akbar's Kamala, the Ugandan warrior. And Joe, we're talking about dream matches. Ladies and gentlemen, here's how you can participate in the dream match program.
Trey, I have 2 words for you. Bullshit.
So Kamala wasn't even in the territory until last week, which they are very transparent about this show means a fucking hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
But people were mailing in ballots that they wanted to see Magnum TA versus Kamala.
Yes. Bullshit. Yeah. So
I got no argument.
By the way, this is not the last time I'm going to be screaming about this dream match this week. And of course, despite what you may have heard 5 minutes ago, Ernie Ladd will not be defending the North American Heavyweight title against Jim Duggan. Instead, Ernie will be defending against Brad Armstrong. Yes, Brad Armstrong. And I was so peeved. Like this, I was already getting peeved at this point that after the dream match plug, JR was saying something, and I didn't even bother to write it down. I just wrote JR says more stuff after the dream match plug, and they pitch it to the promos we're about to hear with Buddy Landell and Ted DiBiase.
I didn't get any more of it than that either.
Yeah. But yeah, a bunch of people are going to be wrestling today. That's the basically what they said in the intro here, including Private Terry Daniels of the Cobra Corps. He's finally making his debut, sadly. And yeah. Oh my God, I can't wait for that fucking match either. Somebody put this show together, by the way. Like, fucking A, was Bill Dundee, like, was that Elvis suit so tight that, it stopped the blood flow to his brain this week?
Well, he didn't he get his head rammed into the thing?
Well, there you go. And we all know he booked the show after the first one stopped taping, but before the second one began.
Well, yeah, he came from Memphis, where he just showed up right before the show and booked some shit on paper.
Hey, who's here? All right, so let's go to a promo with Ted DiBiase and Buddy Landell.
You know, Teddy, being the new TV Mid-South title champion, I'm going to bring some class and some honor to this title. Now, what I mean by that is that the Nature Boy, being the new TV champion, is going to start. He's not going to be like the old past champions. He's going to start having some real title matches with some top competitors of the Mid-South area starting immediately. And one of the first ones that I think that deserves to be in the ring with the Nature Boy is Shawn Michaels, a new upcoming competitor to the Mid-South area. That's what I've got to say, and that's all.
Well, I'm here because I've been hearing a lot of crying and a lot of belly aching, a lot of crying over spilled milk from the Rock and Roll Express, saying that they were cheated, that they unjustly were robbed of the titles down in New Orleans, and that Hercules Hernandez and Ted DiBiase refused to give them a rematch for the titles. Not true. You're talking about people. You're talking about a team who can only win a match. You support them. They can only win a match if they've got a guy hanging over the ring in a straitjacket or on a scaffold 20 feet over the ring. Well, you're not going to find Ted DiBiase on a scaffold. I do all my wrestling in this squared circle, and that's your true champions, Hercules Hernandez and Ted DiBiase. Now, so we can settle this all up, the Rock and Roll Express are scheduled to wrestle Chavo and Hector Guerrero right here on television today. Now, if they can get to Grizzly Smith and have the contracts changed, then Hercules Hernandez and Ted DiBiase will wrestle them right here today. Not next week, today in a non-title match. If they can beat us here today in a non-title match, then they can have that title shot anytime they want it.
Well, Joel, those are some very interesting comments, both from Landell and from Ted DiBiase. DiBiase, you heard what he said, that he's tired of the Rock and Roll Express crying. Well, we all know the Rock and Roll Express are two great men as far as in and out of the ring, and I know that they're with Grizzly Smith right now trying to work out this situation to replace, for the Guerreros to be replaced by DiBiase and Hercules Hernandez. Plus, Nature Boy Buddy Landell made a couple of interesting comments. He's standing by in the ring. Let's go right now to ring announcer Boyd Pierce.
So if I'm the Guerreros, if I'm the Alamo Busters, like, why the fuck can't I get a non-title match with the champions? Why the fuck is only the Rock and Roll Express allowed to get this non-title match? And this is where Trae would say, Arya, I agree with you. I think that's a preposterous thing for them to do.
Is that good enough? You happy with that?
Yes, I am. But yeah, Buddy is going to defend the TV title today against Shawn Michaels. Why do I feel like I've seen Buddy Landell wrestle Shawn Michaels before?
So a pre-match, a Super Bowl of Wrestling pre-match.
Yes. And this is where we're like, imagine if we started Smoky Mountain a year before we did. We'd literally be watching the build to Shawn Michaels versus Buddy Landell at the Super Bowl of Wrestling right now while watching this match.
I, for one, am very excited that Buddy is the new Mid-South TV title champion.
Yes. Oh, God. It's like when you're playing a bad TEW scenario and the person who puts it together puts like championship in the name of the title because they, for some reason, forget that the way it's set up is like it says so-and-so defends the WWE championship or whatever. So like when you put championship, it says defends the WWE championship or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe Buddy Landell's the one that makes all those bad scenarios.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we go to the ring for our opening match, which is the champion of television, Buddy Landell, versus the kid of breaking hearts, Shawn Michaels. Buddy and Boyd argue over whether or not this is a title match. Not only, I pop for this so bad, because it tells you, like, if a heel says something over how much it makes sense, the crowd is going to boo you. And even if the babyface does something that makes no sense, they will cheer. Boyd argued that this will not be a title match, and the crowd cheered for this lack of a title match.
Ted used to be simpler.
Yes. And I love Boyd. Boyd, like, he should be the matchmaker of Mid-South Wrestling. Fuck Grizzly Smith. You know?
I agree.
Where's Mid-South President Charlie Lay? You know? He's probably down in Florida somewhere. Replace him
Getting
with Boyd
laid.
Pierce. Aha.
Oh.
By the way, Ted DiBiase, we forgot to mention this earlier. Ted DiBiase does not wrestle on scaffolds. He does not wrestle in a cherry picker wearing a straight jacket. I mean, it helps Jim Cornette didn't wrestle in a straight jacket either. It was the Midnight Express wrestled, but not in a straight jacket.
It'd be hard to wrestle in a straight jacket.
So I believe this is Sean's first singles match here on television. I believe all of his other matches have been tag matches. Landell pinned Michaels with a corkscrew elbow, proving that Landell would have won the WWF Intercontinental Championship had Jim Cornette not interfered at the Super Bowl of Wrestling.
Well, thanks for spoiling it for me.
Oh, I apologize. Buddy Landell did not win the title.
Well, I knew that. I didn't know why.
Well, I technically didn't tell you the finish.
Okay. It wasn't a super kick.
Maybe not. I mean, you know who wins. You can find out in 12 months exactly how it happened. I mean, you could technically do it now if you wanted to, but why the hell would you do that?
No.
So a fun little match, that Shawn Michaels guy, he's got something. I think, he might become, he might be accomplished enough to become a mid-carder.
Think so?
Yeah. I have high hopes for this guy. He seems like the kind of guy who can make, $50,000, $60,000 a year in pro wrestling.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So we go to our next match, which is the North American champion Ernie Ladd versus Curly Brad Armstrong. According to Joel, one of Brad's advantages in this match is that this is not a no disqualification match. I've never gotten the implication that General Akbar's men care whether or not a match has rules or not.
They're fine, upstanding gentlemen.
They're good, clean Christian athletes,
yeah.
To quote Stan Lane. So Ernie hits the big boot, but instead of going for a big leg, he goes for a big splash, and Brad gets his knees up. Ernie got a string out and tried to use it somehow, but Brad drop-kicked him into Carl Fergie. Brad picked up the string and choked Ernie out with the string. When Carl woke up, Brad transitioned it into a sleeper hold of sorts, and Ladd's arm dropped 3 times. And ladies and gentlemen, the king is dead. Long live the new king. Brad Armstrong is your North American heavyweight champion.
Yes, and this was portrayed as poetic justice because of how Ladd took the title from TA.
Magnum TA, yeah. Because I forgot, but they said that he did that to TA, that he choked him out with the string. But I wrote, this is it for our favorite bum seeker. He finishes out the year doing some house show jobs, and that's it. He has a random match in '85 against Kamala in San Antonio, and the famous WWF Legends Battle Royal in '87, and never again. Goodbye, Ernie Ladd. We shall miss you.
There were no bombs left to seek.
Indeed.
What do you think I am? A bum seeker?
We will never think you're a bum seeker, Ernie.
Never.
Magnum TA versus Kamala with Friday and General Skandor Akbar in a dream match. I wrote prediction.
I'm sorry. A dream match? You say this is a dream match?
Yes, this is a
That
match that people sent in their postcards asking for.
and it was the first standby match.
Yeah, yeah, that's even better. Now, here's the thing, and it's possible that they said this on like the local promos or whatever that we didn't see, but when they first did this, when we first started watching in 81, they told you that when we have the dream matches, Andre the Giant's going to be in the territory, Dusty Rhodes is going to be in the territory. So feel free to book matches with Andre the Giant and Dusty Rhodes in mind. Kamala was never mentioned. So you can't even, lie to yourself and say, "Oh yeah, we really got all these cards and letters. That's for Kamala versus Magnum TA." So if that's the case, if you're saying, "Well, we would have done whatever the cards say," what if the fucking card said they wanted Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair? You know, we were
They
not
would
going to
have
fucking
fucking
get
got.
Hulk Hogan versus
They
Ric
would have got
Flair.
Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair in the Irish McNeil Boys Club. Who are you to doubt Grizzly Smith?
There we go. He is the matchmaker after all. So I wrote prediction. This finish will be some kind of DQ. So Joel
sorry.
outed him. Yeah, Joel outed himself as referee Joel Armstrong, saying he previously refereed a match between these two.
He did that a week or two ago. He mentioned having been a referee like recently.
Then we have seen some bullshit finishes on this show. We have seen some truly magnificently dumb fucking finishes. Like one of the first shows we watched, Cowboy Bob Orton got pinned to win a tag team match that he wasn't even in. That was pretty fucking bad. In this match, Kamala was disqualified. Trae, do you want to tell the listener how Kamala was disqualified in this match against Magnum TA?
It was for kicking too much ass.
He gave Magnum TA his finisher. The splash to the back.
Several times.
And he stood, yeah, he gave him the splash to the back 3 times. And the referee rang the fucking bell. And at first, I wanted to be like, okay, Kamala kicked his ass so badly, the referee had to stop the match to save Magnum TA, to save his health. But they announced that Magnum TA won by disqualification. Because apparently, the splash to the back, doing it repeatedly, is a fucking disqualification. Magnum TA, who didn't get disqualified last week for shoving Ronnie West repeatedly, wins here because Kamala was beating him up too badly.
That's
Then,
what happened.
In case that's not fucked up enough, Butch Reed ran out to beat up Buddy Landel. You heard me right. Butch Reed ran out to beat up Buddy Landel, who you might recall I did not mention at any point was he at ringside for this match. Then Ted DiBiase ran out and accidentally punched Landel. Reed then grabbed DiBiase's hand and slammed it off the top turnbuckle repeatedly. I wrote, didn't we see this before? Isn't that how DiBiase broke his hand or his arm or his wrist or whatever like a year or two ago on this show?
You tell me.
This is the bullshittiest bullshit DQ I have ever seen. This is already worse than Smoky Mountain Dream Match month.
was bad.
Trae, I would like to induct the dream match into the something else hall of this suck.
Seconded.
Oh my God. Kendo the Samurai is no longer the most recent inductee. The Mid-South Dream Match Contest. Inducted December 15, 2025 for being the bullshittiest bullshit we've ever seen.
The bullshittiest bullshit that ever bullshit.
Alrighty. Now I gotta keep scrolling. What? Keep scrolling. What? Tim Horner versus Dale VC. I am still so upset about the stupidity of the last match that I cannot even sing. Horner wins with a side Russian leg sweep.
I can confirm that happened. I have no further comments on it.
Terry Taylor, who is a bitch, a stooge, and a degens, versus Jack Victory. And we are informed during this match that the Rock and Roll Express have successfully got the match changed to them versus DiBiase and the Sheik. How convenient that the Rock and Roll Express got their match changed after DiBiase got injured.
Was
Sheik Hercules. Okay. We're informed that Terry Taylor's goal is to be the world champion. Trae, I will bet you $100 that Terry Taylor never achieves his goal.
I don't know. He seems like he could at least take Ric Flair into a draw.
Well, that doesn't mean he won the world title. As a matter of fact, they claim that you can only win the world title by pinfall or submission unless you're the Monster Abyss. I believe that's a caveat in the rules, a well-known caveat.
Isn't that little like fish egg shit that you eat with a bone spoon?
Caviar?
Yes, thank you. That was the joke.
So, it seems very appropriate that I saw this during a Terry Taylor match, but apparently Gunther's promo on Raw today, he said that John Cena tapped out like a little bitch.
Well, that was the finish, wasn't it?
It was. It was. By the way, Terry Taylor won with the 5-arm, but so people are upset for a number of reasons about that match, the Gunther John Cena match. Now, to me, I don't care that the finish was that Gunther won. I don't care the finish was Gunther tapped him out. The finish, the problem I had is that whether or not he was supposed to, when it got to the finish, John Cena began smiling. And to me, that takes it from being, okay, Gunther beat John Cena because he's the better man, to John Cena let him win. And it reminded me of, remember, I know you get mad at me for continuing to perpetuate the myth that TNA exists, but do you remember like a decade ago when they did Sting versus Magnus at Bound for Glory? And the story was that Magnus wanted Sting to make him like Ric Flair made Sting at Clash of the Champions. And so the finish of the match was that Magnus put on, I think, the Texas Cloverleaf on Sting, and Sting, quote unquote, tapped out. But the story was that Sting let him win.
That's right around the time that I gave up on TNA, so that checks out.
Well, that's what I thought about this. Like, whether or not Cena was supposed to smile like that, I would hope he wasn't. I would like to think that, Hunter would not have booked that. But, yeah, it made it look like that Cena let him win instead of Gunther just being better.
You're going to watch it. People are going to jump on your ass if you keep complaining about WWE booking being fucking stupid.
Dear everyone, booking in wrestling is sometimes really fucking stupid. And if you don't think I've ever complained about AEW booking, rewind like 3 months. I literally didn't watch AEW the entire summer because I was fucking sick and tired of the fucking Death Rider angle. So please, people, fuck the fuck off sometimes. Yeah. I'm really learning to win friends, aren't I, on this show? All right. So Private Terry Daniels of the Cobra Corps versus Terry Ellis. Now, I didn't look this up, but maybe Terry Daniels, maybe that's his legitimate military ranking. Because he did have what was that?
I'm sorry, were you going to go anywhere else with that sentence?
Because I'm saying, he's the only military person who's coming in. He couldn't have given himself a promotion.
That's called stolen valor, Arya.
Yes, because Sergeant Slaughter, of the Cobra Corps, no stolen valor in pro wrestling.
No.
Joel tells us that he's happy that Terry is willing to die, which is a weird thing for Joel to say about another man. Daniels got a 2 count, and JR exclaimed that we nearly got a near fall. I mean, it was a 2 count. What more could we have done to get a near fall than a 2 count? I'm sorry, for some reason I have a tickle in my throat all of a sudden. They were impressed that Daniels did not allow Ellis to get in any offense. Normally, we just call that a squash match in this territory. Then, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the fuck is going on over here. But they tell us that Terry Daniels... Yeah, I think so. All of a sudden, I got a big coughing fit. And I guess the world does not want me to rant and rave about Terry Daniels, I guess. Because Jesus Christ. They told us that Terry Daniels has a great finisher called the Cobra Clutch. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. He does not have a Cobra Clutch as a finisher in this territory. Oh my God. Yes, he does. He won with the Cobra Clutch. And I guess we'll see, but the word Shininomaki never left their mouths, and Hercules was only mentioned because his match was next.
Cobra Clutch is easier to say.
That is very true, but, we technically have a top heel and tag team champion who uses that as a finisher.
Well, maybe he doesn't anymore.
He had it taken away because the Sheik got outranked by a private.
There you go.
I'm actually waiting for Bill Watts to go all geopolitical on Sheik Hercules Hernandez. Oh, God. So from here, before our next match, before what is our main event, our third standby match, or actually, not even our third standby match, 1, 2, 3, 4, our fifth standby match, let's go to Ted DiBiase, who's in the ring with his arm in a sling.
A tag team match.
Boy, Pierce, the Rock and Roll Express refused to accept this match till they saw that no good gutter rat Butch Reed come down here and try to maim me for life, re-injure the hand that I've been nursing for 2 years. And after I was hurt, they went ahead and accepted this match. Well, I'll tell you what,
I'm hurt, as you can see, and I can't wrestle. I cannot wrestle today, but my good friend, Dr. Death Steve Williams, has agreed to take my place and wrestle with Sheik Hernandez, and I tell you what I'm going to do. If the Rock and Roll Express can beat this combination, they'll still have a title shot.
Okay. So that no good gutter rat Butch Reed. That's I think that's a tremendous name there for that no good gutter rat Butch Reed. And now Boyd Pierce, earlier in this episode, fought with Buddy Landel, refusing to allow him to defend the TV title that he wanted to defend. However, Boyd Pierce did not speak up about this substitution. And to be fair, would you tell Dr. Death he wasn't allowed to do something?
No.
Boyd's mama did not raise no fool. So we get our match, which is the Rock and Roll Express versus Sheik Hercules Hernandez and the Dr. Death helmet holder, Dr. Death Steve Williams, with General Skandor Akbar and Ted DiBiase. They did the fake hot tag where the referee didn't see it. We had a heel miscommunication spot and a screwy finish where Morton tried to roll up the Sheik, but the Sheik is not bendable, but Morton won anyway. After the match, DiBiase posted Morton, and we got a 3-on-2. Alabama junior heavyweight champion Mike Jackson failed at making the save, but Terry Taylor, who was a little bitch, a stooge, and a degens, made the save along with Tim Horner and Brad Armstrong. And that's how the show went off the air.
Indeed it was. That was, to me, it went off the air with Joel threatening me with Iceman Parsons next week. Because I didn't catch that they said it last week, and this was my realization that Iceman is going to be on this show next week.
Yes, I'm sure Bill Watts will tell us how he got the nickname the Iceman is because the ladies said that he what was it that he's so cool or something. I guess I have to wait for Bill Watts to tell us why he's nicknamed the Iceman. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so the Rock and Roll Express, shockingly, as the only babyface tag team in the territory, are going to get a tag team title match at some point in the future.
Wow, was not expecting that.
I, for one, was shocked beyond belief by that one. Much like the first Birdemic movie, I am in shock and awe. So, Trey, we've officially caught up. But let's update people on our schedule for the next few weeks. So this week is currently scheduled to finish out as normal. Tomorrow is the TNA show from December 17th, 2003. Thursday is supposed to be Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which is technically right after Night of the Legends. It's that weekend. It's the day of Fire on the Mountain. But it was a show taped, July 5th. Next week, we are only doing the Tuesday show, Mid-South and World Class. And then on the 30th, same thing, only Mid-South World Class. And then we'll be back and as good as new on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, Trey or myself decide to run into the House of Representatives or the Congress and try to overthrow the government.
I was thinking about running into traffic. How's that?
There you go. I mean, we would be meeting in the middle, roughly. I mean, I know it's not quite the middle, but I think DC is pretty gosh darn close to in between you and I.
Be a very loppy, so never mind.
What was that?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. But apparently Cody Rhodes attacked Drew McIntyre at his home because that feud just will never end.
What was Drew McIntyre doing at Cody Rhodes' home?
Well, Cody Rhodes was in Drew McIntyre's home. I think that's how I'm
Pronouns,
reading
pal.
this. The Cody Rhodes Drew McIntyre feud took another turn in a video that aired on social media. Yada 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 yada. The video started with Aldis meeting McIntyre, telling him that despite everything that happened at Saturday night's main event, everyone wanted him reinstated. Aldis's proposal was he would give McIntyre a future title match against Rhodes. However, the terms would also require McIntyre to be fined, and we'd also have to apologize to referee Dan Engler, who McIntyre attacked prior to being suspended. First of all, fuck Dan Engler, aka TNA referee Rudy Charles. Drew, don't apologize.
What did Rudy Charles do to you?
He's just a shitty referee. At least I don't watch him at WWE anymore. He was a pretty shitty TNA referee. Admittedly, this is 20 years ago, and in theory, the guy's gotten better as a referee in 20 years. But yeah. Apparently, Cody went to Drew McIntyre's house to beat him up. And Cody screamed, "Merry Christmas, asshole." Now, I know the brand extension doesn't mean shit, but I did not realize Cody Rhodes was a SmackDown wrestler.
I
just
could
kind
not
of
tell
assumed-
you what brand anybody on that show was on if you put a gun to my head.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense because I know CM Punk's on Raw, and I'm pretty sure CM Punk's the world champion. In fact, I know CM Punk's the world champion. But so it makes sense that Cody's then on SmackDown, but it's like, yeah, I don't read the results. You're lucky I know who the fucking champions are. And like right now, if you held a gun to my head and asked me to tell you who the Intercontinental Champion and the United States Champion were, the men's Intercontinental Champion, United States Champion, I have no fucking idea.
Okay, I know that the Intercontinental Champion is Dominic because he just won it back from Cena.
Oh, yeah. There you go. And
the
is Solo?
why do I haven't watched this shit? And so it's Ilya Dragunov.
Is it?
Or Dragunov. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought Solo was the champion. Why did I think Solo was the United States champion?
I think, how do I know this? I get all of this just from like reading headlines. I think he lost it to Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn was doing the open challenge, and he lost it to Ilya Dragunov.
Okay, then. Yeah, like you saying that made me remember that Sami Zayn was the champion. And according to the always reliable Wikipedia, Ilya Dragunov is the current WWE United States champion.
Okay, let me see how much of this I can do. Okay, CM Punk is the big gold belt with the ugly logo champion, and Cody is the regular belt with the ugly logo champion. Dom is the Intercontinental Champion. Dragunov is the U.S. champion. AJ and Dragon Lee are the pizza tag team champions. I have no fucking idea who the SmackDown tag team champions are.
I only know this because of the headline a few days ago, but do you even want to take a guess?
No. Stephanie Vaquer is the women's champion, one of the women's champions. And that girl who was the shits and who was so bad that they made a storyline out of it is the Intercontinental Champion, I think.
Maxine Dupree.
Yeah. I swear I haven't watched this show in like a very long time. I just read headlines and I have a stupid memory for stupid things.
So let me see here.
Who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions?
So the SmackDown Tag Team Champions are currently the Wyatt Six.
Oh, God.
And I only know that because there was a article saying the Wyatt Six made a challenge for a tag team title match. And I'm like, oh, who are the champions? Turns out they're the champions.
I was just sitting here booking a really half-ass U.S. tag title tournament for my Pro Wrestling Sim game. And I think the worst choice in this tournament will be better than the Wyatt Six.
By the way, Stephanie Vacour is the current women's world champion. So you still have two titles to go. Who is the WWE women's champion?
Oh fuck. I have no idea.
Jade Cargill.
Okay.
She won it at Saturday night's main event in November from Tiffany Stratton.
And then
Oh, I forgot.
Chelsea Green won back the U.S. women's title, right?
That was the last one I was going to say. Yes. Chelsea Green won it November 7th from Julia, who I always forget is still in WWE.
So weird.
Yes. So Chelsea was the first champion. She won it 1 year and 1 day ago. She lost it to Zelina Vega, who then lost it to Julia, who then lost it to Chelsea Green.
So there's been one American women's United States champion.
Two, Puerto Rico is part of the United States.
That's the one I meant. Chelsea Green is Canadian.
Chelsea Green's Canadian, yeah. Yes, there's only been one. Oh God, you got far more than I would have gotten.
Do you want to hear the brackets for my U.S. Tag Team Championship tournament?
This is WCW 92, right? Or it started as WCW 92.
Yes, we're in January of 93 now.
Okay, great. Who are the champions?
Well, the reason that we're having a tournament is that they are vacant. The Grapplers were the champions, and then Lynn didn't get injured, so. And I'm never giving up the U.S. tag titles. I'm not bringing back the NWA tag titles, damn it, and sacrificing the wonderful U.S. Tag Team Championship. So the first round matches are Terry Funk and Dick Murdoch against the Rock and Roll Express. Arn Anderson and Tom Zink against Barry Windham and Ricky Steamboat. Bam Bam Bigelow and Scott Norton against the Cole Twins. And the Malenko brothers against the Heavenly Bodies of Bobby Eaton and Jimmy Del Rey.
Nice. I was about to say we missed two titles, but I guess technically they're now NXT titles. I was going to say the Speed Champions.
I have no fucking idea.
While you were saying your U.S. title tournament, I saw who the men's speed champion was, and my legitimate response that I almost said out loud was, "Who the fuck is that?"
Who is it?
A man by the name of Jasper Troy.
That sounds like an NXT name.
And according to the always reliable Wikipedia, he is 26 years old from Huffman, Texas. He is 6'5" and 340 pounds.
You got to see where Huffman, Texas is.
It is an unincorporated community in northeastern Harris County
within
the greater Houston metropolitan area.
That's not too far from me.
Yep. Apparently there's approximately 12,000 people there. So, good for them. How about, can you even hazard a guess who the women's speed champion is?
The last I knew, it was that Sol Ruka.
Yep. She apparently had to vacate it because she suffered a knee injury. And this led to Fallon Henley winning the title.
If I had not seen Fallon Henley during the few weeks that I tried to watch NXT back at the beginning of last year, I would say that wasn't a real person.
Teresa Schussler is her real name. This was the match that Brian Alvarez lost his shit on. There was a video on YouTube saying the match that killed the Speed title, and it was her match where she won the title. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh, you're exaggerating a bit much there, Brian. Then I listened to it. I'm like, oh my God, they killed the Speed title. The
What?
match went
What?
to a time limit draw, and Ava came out and announced that it had to continue, and we had to have a finish
Oh my
in
god!
the speed.
Why didn't they just throw those
Oh,
fucking belts in the trash can when fucking elongated muskrats stopped paying them for it?
apparently, it was very important that they continue the lineage of the speed title. There are, almost more titles in WWE that actually including, I guess, including oh my God, which company would have more titles if we include the developmental, WWE or AEW? Probably still WWE because they also have the Evolve titles, which I'm not even going to click on that to see what
Okay,
the hell's going on there.
I counted at one point, maybe like a year or two ago, AEW and ROH against like WWE plus NXT, and they were within like one or two. But I think with
And
the Evolve and the fucking WWID shit that they're probably ahead. Which I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
Well,
I'm not gonna count
well,
again. I don't fucking care.
I'm about to say since after the what felt like a 9 month long tournament, we finally have an ROH Women's Pure Champion, and now we have AEW Women's Tag Team Champions to go along with the AEW National Title. Uh, they're both trying very hard to have as many titles as they can. Um, by the way, not that I can't imagine anybody listening to this who would give a fuck, but I'm going to tell us some SmackDown spoilers right now because it was taped before Raw tonight in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Um, this is what we're missing by not watching SmackDown on Friday, Trey. I hope you're gripping your seat in anticipation for this. Damian Priest was cutting a promo when Aleister Black proceeded to attack Priest. There was a Nia Jax and Lash Legend backstage segment. Aleister Black laid out Damian Priest backstage. Nia Jax and Lash Legend defeated the Kabuki Warriors. After the match, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair cleared everyone out. There was a Julia backstage promo. Julia defeated Alba Fire. Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes defeated DIY. And in the main event for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, I'm assuming because the champions are involved in this, Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis went to a no contest with JC Mateo and Tonga Loa. You sound very whelmed by that.
Oh,
By the way, we did miss one. Who were the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions?
is it the Kabuki Warriors?
It is, in fact, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. They've been champions since November 10th. Did they like change every fucking title in November or something?
Well, yeah,
Jesus Christ, it feels like every one of them I said, a new champion as of November.
you gotta make it a November to remember.
I think everyone except for Cody won the damn belt in November. Um, by the way, Kabuki Warriors defeated Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, who I'd forgotten were champions, who defeated Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, who is a very attractive young lady. Roxanne Perez. I mean, Raquel is too, don't get me wrong. But yeah. All right.
Well, there you
I
go.
think I think we've reached the end of our dive into the future here because we really suck at talking about the present of wrestling. Well, at
We
least I
suck
do.
talking about the past too.
At least we have fun talking about the past.
Do we?
I mean, last week I still have the written preview of last week's show. Sunshine tried to stab Gino Hernandez with scissors. A fun show as always.
Well, fun show as always, so check it out.
Yes. All right, so that's gonna do it for this week. Um, I guess we still have one more week before Christmas, so we're not going to wish you a Merry Christmas yet. Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate, because hey, maybe our one listener is of Jewish descent. But that's going to do it for this week. Thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.